Hi there, Dori Soukup here, founder of InSPAration Management. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Experts. Today I have a very special guest for you. His name is Stephen Handisides. He is the founder of MyFaceMyBody as well as the GVAS conference. Today we're going to be talking about innovating and implementing. And what is so exciting about having Stephen here with me, because he is the true definition of innovation, and I have to tell you why. You see, since the coronavirus, everybody has taken their business online, where Stephen, last year, he actually launched the very first virtual aesthetic conference. So he was way ahead of the pack, and that's truly innovation. And he is working on a couple of other great ventures, and that's why I invited him today to be with us so we can share with you the latest and greatest that's working today, so you too can innovate and implement and reach the highest level of success. Stephen, I'm so excited that you're with me today. Welcome.
Thanks, Dori. No, really good to be part of your show, as always.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, super excited. I think we're in an interesting time and a world of opportunity right now.
Yeah, so let's tell everybody where you are now, because we are so far away from each other, yet I feel that you are right here. We are broadcasting out of our brand new studio right here in Florida, and you are all the way in New Zealand.
Yeah, tropical New Zealand. It's an interesting place here. It's obviously arrived here about when was it now? God, time's flying. About 3 months ago, I arrived in New Zealand and here for a couple more months. But yeah, it's interesting times in New Zealand because we've just gone through a whole. We've got a new prime minister. Well, the same prime minister, but we've just gone through all of our elections and it's COVID-free over here as well. So it's no masks. It sort of just went to a rugby match the other day. There was 40,000 people in a stadium.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I've made it as far as Australia, but I have not made it to New Zealand, and it's definitely on my list of places to visit. So I'm a little jealous that you're there and I'm right here. Maybe one day I'll get to come and visit. Or when you come back here, maybe we can go and you can show me around.
I'll let you present from the beach house studio over here, Dori, anytime. So
that sounds good. Very exciting. All right, so let's start by, first of all, I want to tell everybody how you helped us innovate right in the middle of the coronavirus. So you see, you guys, we used to do all of our events in person, right? We would do these seminars. People would fly in literally from all over the world. And once the coronavirus hit, I knew that I had to innovate. I knew I had to do something. So who did I think of? I had already met Stephen. I spoke at the GVAS conference last year, and I realized that he's the guy that can help me. So I wanted to take our #1 seminar virtually, the Leap Ahead seminar. So I contacted Stephen. I'm like, I need your help. How can I do this seminar virtually, but make it interesting and entertaining and engaging? So him and his team actually helped us create an entire platform for the Leap Ahead on Demand, and people were able to join us and participate as if, almost as good as if we were in person. So I want to really start there. And what drove you, really, before everybody else, Stephen, what drove you to really start the GVAS conference, the aesthetic conference, and what gave you the idea that, yes, we need to do it virtually rather than like everybody else and do it in person?
Yeah, I think when we were looking at this, it was around 10 years ago. We always, in our original business plan, wanted to do a trade show of some sort virtually. And the main reason was that obviously the world is so large, and majority of you see some of these large conferences and trade shows, they have a lot of attendees. It could be 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 attendees. But actually, you could have hundred thousands of attendees. But you're always limited on the size of the venue and also time and money in terms of travel. So we always thought if we could do a virtual event where people felt like they were coming and attending to a virtual conference, then the reach is limitless, and we could get numerous attendees to a particular event. So we trialed it out last year, which was GVAS, the Global Virtual Aesthetic Summit, which was the first sort of virtual event in the aesthetic arena. And it was interesting because it did take a lot of time just to try and understand ourselves as a company, how we thought professionals would navigate through a virtual event. And it was all guesswork. And, we had to take all the risks because no one had really tried it before. And when we did the event, we had around 1,500 attendees, 100 exhibitors. We had 165 speakers in 4 different languages. And as you know, Dori, like when I trial things out, I like to do it on a much larger scale.
Yes.
and it really sort of went off well. And I suppose the feedback we had from the event was that people thought they felt like they'd been at a conference for the full 2 days we were running the event, and that they felt the experience was addictive because they couldn't get away from it. So they could still continue work, but they could be more targeted with their learning. But because they could access it on their tablets and mobile phones, they were always able to go, oh, I wonder what's happening in the chat rooms. Oh, I wonder if my peers are attending. And so, was through the roof. Now, as probably 3 or 4 years ago, it probably wouldn't have worked, but because a lot of companies and a lot of individuals had started to use technologies like webinar software, like Zoom, etc., then we knew it was a good time. But now, obviously, going into this year, everyone's familiar with how to do a webinar or a Zoom meeting or any type of meeting, whether it's Microsoft Teams or webinar. Yeah. So for us, it's exciting for us. There's other competition out there, but we really pride ourselves in the experience and the engagement we give to events, and that's which you'll see at GVAS. It being on a spaceship, is we really like to take people out of their really delve deep into their imagination why anything can happen virtually, rather than us just doing a simple webinar.
Right. Yeah. And what's funny is, we've been doing webinars for over 20 years, and it's very funny to see how some people just during the coronavirus actually started doing those kind of things. So it's funny, sometimes it takes them a while to get around to it. But what I want to go back to is since I participated in GVAS last year in the business curriculum, and it was so nice to know that you could create content, put it on a platform, but still be there live answering questions and going into the chat room. I loved all the little people moving around. It just was so nice and truly very innovative. And it made you feel like you were engaged and you were doing things that are beneficial to you from the comfort of your home. And what's really interesting to me, Stephen, is I think that that's not going to go away. I think there's going to be people that are going to always gravitate to the comfort of their home, but yet still gain the information that they need. And it's something I feel that it's definitely going to stay. And that's why you are taking it to a whole new level. Now, during the coronavirus, I had so many clients because we always taught people how to do events in person. And what's nice about, again, being innovative, that's what we're talking about today. I kept having people asking me all the time, we would like to do events. Do you have any suggestions on how we do them? So then when you and I started talking and we started exploring the option to take the same idea that we did for the Leap Ahead, but do it for clinics and medical spas where they can do virtual events. And I know that we've been working together on creating that for people, and I can't wait to launch it. It's going to be launching very soon, where you, as a med spa owner or a medical practice owner, you can actually host events virtually. So let's tell them a little bit more about that, Stephen, and how they can really still generate a lot of money doing events without having to be in person.
Yeah, so as you know, Dori, with a number of your clients, a lot of them took the opportunity during the the COVID times to really do Zoom meetings with their current patient database to educate them about products, but also to sell them different services and products when the restrictions were a little bit more lenient and people could go in and have treatments. So what we really the inspiration really behind the virtual clinic is it was really to sort of bring down all of the digital and virtual activities that a clinic is doing and will still do today. Is the virtual consultations, waiting rooms now are pretty much non-existent. Where people are patients are no longer waiting in the in those living rooms, but they get taken straight into the treatment area. So with the virtual clinic, there's a number of different virtual rooms where you can go into a virtual waiting room. The med spa can actually customize their waiting area with videos and treatment menus and brochures. There's a virtual consultation room where they can conduct a lot of their virtual consultations, and that is all linked with the technology they're currently using, like Zoom or Microsoft Teams. We're really creating the interface and the engagement part of the experience. And then, as you mentioned, there is the presentation room within the virtual clinic, and this really enables now a med spa or a plastic surgery practice. All they need to do is they can set up their own virtual events on the platform. So they can schedule it in, they can set a date and a time to when that event will start. So let's just say it's tomorrow and they want it to go from 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. And then as soon as that starts, that particular presentation, the event will kick off. Now, they could do that live. Now, we integrate at the moment with Zoom, but there's lots of other webinar platforms if they're currently using, we can integrate with. But most people will do pre-recorded. They'll pre-record their presentation that they want to do for that event. They'll upload it, but then they can set a start time and an end time. And then there's the opportunity for people to ask questions. But the whole idea is to get people to book a consultation. Now, you can do that on the platform as well. So once they watch the presentation, there's a big book a consultation button. They click on that, and then it can either link directly through to a contact form where your staff can actually contact them about booking them in for a consult. Or some of the clinics, what they're doing is they will have the calendar that we've got. So any particular patient or consumer can click a time. They can fill out their details, and then they'll get emailed directly, and then they'll have a Zoom link in that email so they can do the consult pretty much within that time slot they've sort of allocated. So there's lots of really, really cool things, but it's working extremely well, just giving patients and consumers the real feel of being just like at an open evening at a practice, which has been very successful for generating revenue.
Yes. Well, especially since the holiday season is coming up, and that's why there was some urgency for you to complete this and have it, because with the holiday season coming up, many of these medical spas and clinics make so much of their money during the last quarter of the year. So it's very important for you, our audience, to make sure that you are ready and you're not going to miss out. Just because you cannot have an event in person, then you can still do these events, but do them in an innovative way that's going to be different than your competition. And that's really what I love about it. The more differentiation you can make in your business, the more different you are. So imagine your competition is sending out an email saying, oh, join us for this webinar. So that's what everybody does. Now imagine this, you sending out an email with some of the pictures of what your new platform looks like for doing virtual events, and maybe doing a little video clip that you can put in this also email, telling people how different you are, and how this experience is going to be totally amazing for them, just as good almost as it is in person. And, we went one extra step too, Stephen. I had my clients take their VIP members and send a bottle of wine in advance. So when they came to the event, they can have actually a glass of wine together. And it's working out beautifully. People absolutely love it. Now, I'm not going to do it to every single person I invite, but definitely your VIP clients. So any opportunity you have to differentiate your business with innovative ideas like this, you should definitely do it. Definitely do it. Now, Stephen has a website for the V Unite. So it's V like Victor dash Unite. So if you want to go check it out, and there are opportunities for you to get in touch and see how they can customize a platform for you so you can start hosting your events and be different and be productive and generate a lot of revenue. So I am so excited that you're doing things like that, Stephen.
Yeah, it's been super exciting just getting everyone's positive feedback from the industry. I mean, we really have listened to med spas and practices from all over the world. Actually, we really did our research on it, and I think we've got a fantastic, really functional product for any med spa that wants to really make some really good money, but to really differentiate themselves. And I think what we're going to do is moving image icon that they can put on their homepage of their website, which says visit my virtual clinic. So that will engage people to click on it, and then it's just going to be a much more interactive experience. It's an addition to your own website as well, just even for marketing purposes, which we know will do extremely well to capture the attention of a consumer that hasn't actually become a customer of yours yet.
Right. And what's exciting about that for me, because we build websites and we help people market themselves, and what I love about that, having that little icon saying, check out the virtual platform, and I bet you anything, people will be able to reserve more consultations just because they want to see what it's like. So they're going to be clicking and going on a little discovery to make sure that they're not missing out on anything. So it's very exciting, really very exciting. Congratulations. You are truly a man who is an innovator.
Oh, thank you. And look, hey, we're running a really good special with you, aren't we? With all your customers with it. It's pretty good. I think it's $99 a month, and you get all of that sort of innovation and that you can sort of personalize as well. So we just want to get it out there, don't we, Dori, and just show people a different way to engage with virtual and sort of help them out in these challenging times as well.
Well, the thing about events is, usually I advise people to do at least back then, at least one quarterly event. And normally our clients can generate anywhere between 100,000 to, I've had some generate as much as 280,000 from one event. So just because they can do that in person, they can still do it like this. You just have to change the business model a little bit to see how you're going to convert all these virtual visitors into revenue. And we've figured that out, actually. We have a way that you can actually do this. And that's the thing. I'm so excited that all of our mastermind members are going to start using the platform so I can truly show them how to finish the year super strong. And just because they can't be in person doesn't mean that you say goodbye to your events. So keep that in mind for sure. All right. Well, let's go back a little bit more to the global. That's the key word, is global. And that's what's so different. We're talking about differentiation here. So the Global Virtual Aesthetic Conference is all about having exposure to a wide range of speakers, doctors, people that are participating. I think anytime you widen your vision, you widen your exposure to something that's global, that's totally different than going to a conference here in the US. And that's why I really want to encourage you to try this out, because it's totally different, because you're going to gain exposure to what other people are doing globally, not just in the US. So let's talk a little bit now. I know I helped you create the business curriculum, And I know that you have a great clinical curriculum as well. So let's dive in a little bit on what would the attendees walk away with. I can speak of the business side, but maybe you can speak of the clinical side of what they're going to walk away with and why should they really invest in attending the GVAS conference.
Yeah, great. Look, on the clinical program, I wanted to do something completely different. It's with GVAS, it's always been ahead of the curve. So we really wanted to focus the summit on being around innovation. So therefore, our clinical program really had to correlate with that. So a lot of the speakers that you'll see are some really well-known speakers and other speakers you might not have heard of who are up-and-coming sort of KOLs or speakers in other countries that are extremely high-profile, but you wouldn't have seen them because they wouldn't have been able to attend an English conference, and we've had to transcribe some of their presentations as well from China and Brazil, etc. But the procedures that you're going to see and the treatments and the workshops, I tried to be really sort of outside the box. I mean, there's some fantastic innovations around stem cells and bone marrow for hair restoration. We've got, earlobe rejuvenation. We've got, some pretty out of it procedural videos that these doctors will be explaining their methodologies and their sort of practical tips. 90% of the content that you're going to see, or 95% of the content, are all practical demonstrations. So we're not going to bore you like you've probably, as Dori said, you're probably over watching Zoom webinars, etc. This is not it. We have really refined our program so everything are practical demonstrations that clinicians have done in their own practices for you guys that you guys can access from all over the world in the comfort of your own home. So it should be extremely exciting. And again, there's going to be a lot of depth in each of these workshops because they're not the usual 7 minutes to 15-minute workshops. They're going to be anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour and a half workshops. A lot of them in the half an hour to 45-minute space because, again, a lot of the feedback we get from attendees is that the presentations are always too short. And that's just because a lot of the time at a normal conference, they're trying to get through so many speakers. Well, we're really going for quality over quantity at GVAS. So, yeah, just expect you're going to see some pretty amazing, high quality, high definition workshops. And just lastly, there is the cadaver anatomy in 2D and 3D with Dr. Jonathan Sykes. We're rerunning that from the May event. That's a 3.5-hour course broken up into about 10 to 12 modules, but fantastic if you've never done any sort of cadaver training, but he goes through the dissection anatomy and also an injection workshop.
It is amazing. I actually had the pleasure to watch one during the Empire Medical Training that I was doing the business, but they had it the next day and I actually went and watched. Amazing. And if you have not seen that, you really need to. It is just so incredibly educational and it just makes you really rethink your entire process because once they start peeling the layers, it's quite a show. Quite a show. Definitely you need to see that. So as far as the business side, we have come up when Stephen approached me to help plan the business aspect of GVAS. I wanted to be able to provide you almost like an A to Z process. So we wanted to start with teaching you some great marketing strategies, how we can increase the traffic into your business. And then the sales process, how can we take that person that's just making a phone call to actually take them through the whole consultation process? How much revenue can we really generate from that aspect? What do we do with them after they do the consultation? Then we wanted to get into team building, how to recruit, how to hire the right people from an operational standpoint. What software do you need? What things that should you have within your operations to really help you succeed? We also have a segment on financial health where how should you budget? How should you pay people? having the recurring revenue model, which is one of my favorite things in the whole world. And if you don't have one yet, you definitely need to have one. So we really wanted to provide you with some great speakers that can cover your business model literally from A to Z. And what's nice about that is that you'll be able to walk away with so much insight and so many great strategies that really, if you're on top of your game, you'll be able to go home and actually you're home. You can go to work, I should say, and implement right away. So it was really my pleasure, Stephen, to help you with that and see how all the speakers can provide the most value for the attendees. Very, very fun.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Well, my pleasure. And then you're going to do the awards at the end, right? So you want to tell them a little bit about that? Now, that is something that not many other places do. As a matter of fact, I don't know of any virtual conferences that do awards the way Stephen and I are going to do the awards.
Yeah, exactly. Look, so just to, for the GVAS conference, it's the 14th and 15th of November. So if you guys haven't registered, make sure you do on myfacemyBody.com/GVAS to attend this conference that will be on a spaceship. We are going intergalactic for 2020. We've been running the My Face My Body Awards probably for 12 years, where it's the largest awards program in the aesthetic sector globally. So we have countries from all over the world that enter. And last year, again, was before the whole COVID thing hit. We wanted to do virtual because we wanted to reach a much wider client base. And because we had loads of inquiries from countries all over the world that couldn't get to one of our gala dinners in LA, London or Sydney. So we decided to go virtual, and it went extremely well. We did a live stream. I had a co-host. We presented from Las Vegas, and we presented all the winners. But this year, it's going to be presented on the 12th of December. Dori and I will be doing it in a very innovative way, and Dori will be doing it from her studio. But we'll have some fun things that we'll be doing on the night. The presentation is around about an hour. But there'll be some fun components to it to celebrate innovation and customer excellence within the aesthetic space.
So much fun. What would someone have to do to enter, Stephen? Like who is the ideal people to enter?
Yeah, so the entries are closed this year, but if we get thousands of entries, and so the categories have always been broken up into a few different areas. So there's categories for individual excellence. So this is for any business owners, practitioners, whether you're a nurse, a plastic surgeon, a dermatologist. There's ones in there for therapists, estheticians. And then you've got the practice awards. So this really celebrates team excellence. And so there's a number of clinical ones. And then there's a whole lot of categories for brands, suppliers that are always wanting to enter and win awards for their products and innovations.
Yeah, very nice. Well, I'm super excited about that. I have to say I have not hosted an aesthetic awards event, but I have hosted other types of events from my hospitality days and the resort days. So it's always so much fun to do stuff like that. So again...
Oh, it's the glitz and the glam, Dori. You're... everyone who's listening out there, you're going to see Dori in she's going to look $1 million.
Ooh.
What she's wearing.
Now you're setting the bar. Now you're setting the bar high.
Yeah, she doesn't want to reveal which brand she'll be wearing that evening. So let's just say that.
I just have to say Armani is my favorite. We go a long way, Giorgio and myself.
Well, hopefully he's listening, Dori, so he'll reach out with his latest collection.
Oh, that's so funny. All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. So to recap a little bit, some of the things that you should be innovating about is definitely hosting your virtual events so you can make 6 figures even though they are virtual. And then the other thing is you should definitely start attending global events rather than only local events, because you really need to see what is going on around the world, not only in your backyard, because you can learn a lot more when you expand your horizon. And then the other thing I was telling you about when I first started using the platform was the Leap Ahead seminar. So if you want to improve your business, you can always go and check out and see how we did the Leap Ahead virtually. So you can go to inspirationmanagement.com and check that out for it. So again, you want to give everybody, so it's myfacemyBody.com/GVAS is where they would go to sign up for the conference. And the conference is coming up in November. And Stephen, though, I think we talked about anybody that signs up, do they still have access post the event in case those days are not good days for them?
No, they have to register for the event.
Right.
And the whole idea is that there is so much content on the platform, so you won't be able to attend everything, but it is a team building event. So a lot of practices will bring their entire team.
Nice.
So there is workshops and content for everyone in the team. Your office managers, practice managers, the administrative staff, and also your clinical staff. But the idea with GVAS is that if you spend enough time learning about the different products in the exhibition halls and engaging with the vendors, you can get that 30-day access pass, which enables you the freedom to go in and watch that content on demand for 30 days.
And that's what I love about it. And as a matter of fact, I don't think of any other conference that actually did that, you guys. And I speak at many conferences. So to be able to go register, invite your whole team, so it is a team effort, and then you still can come back and access the content 30 days later, that's just absolutely worth it. So I would highly recommend for all of our audience, those of you who are in our community, I will highly recommend to go and register and see what it's like around the world to be part of this wonderful aesthetic industry. It's very exciting. Thank you so much, Stephen. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just wish everyone the best and look forward to chatting with everyone at the GVAS Summit on the 14th and 15th of November. And looking forward to it. Getting really excited now. It's not long. It's
around the corner, yes. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being our expert today. Stephen Handisides with MyFaceMyBody, all the way from New Zealand, joining us. What a world we live in. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And stay safe and healthy. And until next time, stay inspired. Bye now.